Hey, what's up, everybody? Tonight on the show, Triller Triad Combat, Kamaru Usman's broken hand, and Jon Jones versus Jake Hager?
Let's go!
Let's clear that one out of the way first. No, Jon Jones and Jake Hager's not happening. Guys, how you all doing? It's not happening.
What's up, Dave?
Before AJ gets too excited about Jon Jones versus Jake Hager from AEW, Jon Jones thought he was still Jack Swagger from WWE, and then he deleted the tweet. Jones announced that they were going to grapple on December 9th, but he said that it was going to be against WWE superstar Jack Swagger. He currently wrestles for AEW under the name Jake Hager, his real name. And Hager says there's no contract, that nothing's been signed and nothing's actually happening. And then Jon Jones deleted the tweet. So before AJ gets too excited, I know AJ was really excited to talk about Jon Jones and Jake Hager. I'm going to kill the buzz right off the top.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah, you look like
Free
Joe Exotic.
Do you know what's crazy about this, Dave? As we were talking
Your
about
outfit?
Joe Exotic, not even for... No. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, man. This is my Thanksgiving garb. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. Not even... No. It's Thanksgiving in the States, bud. You got to give thanks
happy
to
Thanksgiving
our,
to all
US
of our
fans.
American
Joe
friends.
Exotic!
Yeah, but it's not
Listen,
Thanksgiving for me. Happy Thanksgiving, Fred?
What?
Fred, is it Thanksgiving for you?
You guys.
Fred?
Anyways,
I mean,
let me
it's
get back to what I
American
was saying.
Thanksgiving, and do you guys hear me well? Because I got problems here, I think.
I can hear you. Can you
Not as
hear,
much-
can you
not as
hear
much
us?
as Joe Exotic.
Let me restart.
Oh, Fred's got to go. Fred's having problems.
Oh, no. What happened, Freddie?
I don't know. Fred
Freddie
just
got
froze out.
swaggered, man.
We'll
You
get
got
Fred
the Jon
back.
Jones. Listen, you know what's crazy, Dave? We were
Huh?
joking around with the Joe Exotic and all that. Not even 44 minutes ago, there's a huge rally going on to free Joe Exotic. And apparently his new lawyer just came in about 23 minutes ago and says, listen, we've got new evidence that exonerates Joe Exotic, man. Free Joe Exotic, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Free the Tiger. Here, kitty, kitty.
Did you watch the new season
When
of Tiger
you're
King?
down in Tampa Bay. No, but you know what? Apparently it's like hitting the top of the list for Netflix.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
saw it.
watch it, bud. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
It was pretty good.
Did you?
Yeah.
Better than the first? Like nothing can get better than a guy's arm getting ripped off
No.
by a tiger. Come on.
No, but it was interesting because it's kind of like a where are they now type of thing. What happened to these people after they became famous from the Tiger King series, and what's happening with the Joe Exotic legal case to try and get Joe Exotic freed from jail. And they make some interesting arguments as to why Joe Exotic should maybe be free from jail for the murder for hire plot to kill Carol Baskin. But at
He
the
was
same
set up,
time,
man.
yeah, maybe. But at the same time, it does seem like he did murder a lot of animals illegally, so he should probably do some jail time for that. I don't know how much time,
No.
but
Listen,
I don't know.
he's not the only one that look. I don't know if
just
he
because
tortured
he's not the
animals.
only
That's still-
one doesn't mean he didn't get
Listen.
caught for doing it, and he should serve time
Dave,
for doing it. You can't kill tigers
Dave,
when they've
it's
outgrown their
questionable.
use for you. What's
Dude,
questionable?
it's questionable. With the tiger killing, I think it's that guy that came in on him, like his partner thing. That I think I'm just saying speculation. I think Joe got framed, man. Here, kitty, kitty, when you're down.
I don't think Joe Exotic got framed.
Come and see the tiger way.
God, do we lose Fred? I think Fred's gone now. I don't know.
What happened to Freddie?
I don't know.
Freddie was like everything was going good till the Joe Exotic thing, and then boom, gone. That's what happens when you diss like American Thanksgiving, bud. C'est pas Québec ici. It's what's up?
I'm looking for Fred. Fred said he was going to disconnect and then come back. I don't know. Fred didn't come back. Shout out Angelo. Shout out Miss Brooklyn Lizard. Happy Thanksgiving to you out in New York.
You see?
Shout out to Headstrom Bacon. Watching us
Headstrom,
live.
thanks
Shout
for
out
wearing
to-
that T-shirt, man.
Shout out to everybody watching us live on YouTube and Facebook. And even Rolando, who was quite interesting last night.
Oh,
Haven't se-
Rolando.
Is this a friend of yours, AJ, Rolando?
Yeah, man. Rolando
yeah, I
is my brother
suspected.
from another mother. Listen, no. First of all, I'm going to tell you something with Rolando. Rolando's he knows more about Dave Simon and Dave Simon Productions all the way back to the what was it, CKMG? What was that? What was it back
I don't even
then?
know. Who
Come on.
knows?
Rolando knows. But anyways, Rolando knows his stuff. When it comes to pro wrestling, the guy knows his stuff.
All right.
MMA, I'm not sure. I think Rolando knows his stuff. Look, I know Rolando He's from the Point, super nice guy.
All right.
But man, he could be like a Johnny, like a sidekick, man. I'm telling you, he's a big boy. He's just as big as Johnny.
Well, shout out to Rolando. He was entertaining on the chat, entertaining to say the least. Johnny was not too happy. I had a chat with Johnny after the show, and he was not too happy with your buddy Rolando. Freddie is back.
Listen,
thankfully, thank you, Fred.
If Johnny breaks a smile, it's a success. He came close to it. He had a smirk on his face a couple of times. If Johnny smiles, hallelujah.
All right, how you doing,
It was
Fred?
a good show, by the way, man. Freddie, what the hell happened?
I'm good. I think I'm better now.
Yeah, you sound good.
You okay? You got a Pepto-Bismol? Is everything okay there? Listen, did you hear about the Joe Exotic thing I was saying? Did you hear my Joe Exotic?
Not really, but I admit I don't know if I'm really that interested in your Joe Exotic, man.
No, it's not interesting. Fred, did you see the new Tiger King season on Netflix?
I only saw the first episode, man.
Oh, okay. They made some interesting points.
Right now.
I watched the whole thing. It was interesting.
But is Joe Exotic in there? Is he sick? Like, what's going on?
He's in there from jail.
Hospital.
He's from jail in there being interviewed for the show.
Look, I don't know, man. That guy got framed. Baskin Robbins, whatever her name is.
Carol Baskin.
Close enough. I mean, that lady probably fed her ex to the Tigers. I'm just going with what the show says.
Well, if you watch season 2, if you watch season 2, they kind of go into that guy, John Lewis, who was mysteriously disappeared and no one knows what happened to him. And it seems like maybe Carol Baskin had something to do with it, but also maybe some other people wanted him dead. Maybe he was killed for having sex with underage women, girls.
What?
Yeah, there was a lot of things going on with it. Yeah, well, you got to watch the show to see the whole story, AJ. You're kind of talking out of your ass once again because you don't have all the information. Typical AJ DeLazio, and that's why we love you.
Listen, bud, you're hyping it up because it's actually. I was looking at the stats here. It's like on the top of Netflix charts. So it must be that good. And you know what? Free Joe Exotic. And by the way, Freddie, 44 minutes ago, they're starting a rally to free Joe Exotic in the States. Just to let you know.
Good luck to them.
Big rally.
So happy Thanksgiving to all of our American viewers and all of our Canadian viewers. Hey, how are you? Jon Jones, it was really weird that he announced his grappling match and then turns out it's not happening. Kind of disappointing. I wanted to see him grapple Jake Hager. I thought he'd beat Hager.
Go?
I think he'd beat Hager pretty easily, no? It's Jon Jones.
I don't know, man.
So.
You don't think so?
Hager's grappling was pretty impressive, man, the few times he fought. So I don't know, man. What is he? Isn't he like Jon Jones is a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and so is Jake Hager or Hager? I think it's Hager. So Jake Hager. Is a blue belt himself, if I'm not mistaken. Just saying, it's a blue belt versus a blue belt.
Hager,
grappling.
Just saying, it's Jon Jones.
Yeah, it's Jon Jones. Hager is, he was a All-American. I think he was a 2-time All-American wrestler in college. So he was a Division I All-American. He was definitely a good collegiate wrestler, but we're talking about Jon Jones, one of the greatest combat sports athletes of all time. So I think Jon Jones would have won that grappling match, but I think it would have been an interesting move, and I do hope that it happens because we haven't seen Jon Jones as a heavyweight. And Jake Hager, say what you want about his skill level as an MMA fighter. He is a 2-time, Division I All-American. He is a legit heavyweight. He's a big, strong dude that Jon Jones would go in there and have to wrestle. So I think that it would be a good test for the heavyweight Jon Jones. Can he go in there and toss a guy like Jake Hager around? And if he can, maybe he can toss around some of the elite UFC heavyweights. So I think it would have been a good test for Jon Jones, but doesn't look like it's happening. I think Jones let that cat out of the bag before it was actually ready to go.
Well,
I think it would have been fun just for the spectacle. It's two guys that people know from two different things, but I would expect Jon Jones to win that. No disrespect to Hager. He's not really grappling competitively full time. I don't know. I would be disappointed
neither
if
is
Jon
Jones
lost that.
Freddie, neither is Jon Jones. So let's think about it.
MMA.
The guy's
been training.
When's the last time he's fought?
Jake Hager Jake Hager just got a win over Junior Dos Santos and Andrei Arlovsky in the same match, Fred, like 3 weeks ago.
No, that's not a joke. That's not a joke, man. That's real deal.
Yeah, don't forget.
That's not a joke.
No, it really happened.
It's not the real deal, but...
No, it's pro wrestling. It was determined. Tony Khan decided that it would happen. But it still happened.
No, that's not true, Dave.
What do you mean it's not true? Are you telling me pro wrestling is not predetermined? Are you telling me the match between the Dan Lambert American Top Team and the Inner Circle at AEW Full Gear was not a work? It was a shoot? It was a real 5-on-5 fight? Is that what you're telling me, AJ?
I'm just
telling
saying,
me something
guys
I don't
like the
know?
Ultimate Warrior might disagree with you, but I'm just saying.
He can disagree with me all he wants. He's dead. What are you talking about? And Ultimate Warrior knows it was a work. That guy was a bodybuilder. That guy couldn't actually fight. What are you talking about?
What do you mean he couldn't actually fight?
He couldn't actually fight. You ever see him move around? Yeah. Ultimate Warrior.
It was one of my favorites back then, man.
Yeah, well, you didn't understand what was going on. Just like clearly today, you don't quite understand pro wrestling.
Listen, all I'm saying is, look, you got a Bellator heavyweight champ, blue belt in jiu-jitsu, Jon Jones, cold as a turkey, pre-Thanksgiving.
You call him a Bellator heavyweight champ?
Did he? Wasn't he?
No.
At one point? No,
he won 2 fights in Bellator, maybe I think 2 fights, and he was disqualified in one for kneeing a guy in the balls. You remember his last fight? He kneed a guy in the balls, and the fight just ended. Terrible.
Yeah. So listen, either or, man. At least the guy is more hot than Jones is. That's for sure. I'm just saying it's grappling.
What?
Man.
How? What?
There's no knee. I'm saying I don't know, man.
He's got 2 pro fights.
I'd like to see that fight.
A better fighter than Jones. See, this is why I say you're a Jon Jones hater, because you come out and you make these ridiculous proclamations completely dismissing the high skill level of Jon Jones, and it's just because of your deep natural hatred for Jon Jones. You just hate him.
Dave, no.
Who did Jon Jones?
If Jon Jones
fight in a grappling match, like in a super fight, maybe a year or so ago? I'm trying to remember, but anyways, Jon Jones is an elite grappler.
Dan Henderson, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was Dan Henderson. Yeah, he destroyed him completely. Jon Jones is a great. Oh, no picogram mentions yet, AJ. You gonna say picograms or what?
Let me just check.
I'm gonna try and bait you. AJ, Jon Jones tweeted that he's 60 days sober, less than 60 days since his drunken arrest in Las Vegas.
60 days? I've had colds longer than that.
He tweeted that he was 60 days sober, 58 days after he was arrested in Las Vegas for, whatever he was eventually. What was he arrested for in the end? Because he wasn't arrested for anything with his wife, right? What was he arrested for, Fred?
Yeah.
What was he arrested
Some disturbance thing, probably. I don't think she pressed charges, so he did
was arrested in Las Vegas for misdemeanor, battery, domestic violence, as well as injuring and tampering with a vehicle. Jones blamed alcohol for the incident.
Yeah. See, I don't know. If she doesn't press charges, I'm not sure how that all works out for him. He's probably going to get off, and there's going to be absolutely no problems for Jon Jones, and he's going to be fighting at heavyweight sometime in 2021 or 2022 rather for the UFC. I saw Stipe wanted to fight him. He said he either wanted to fight for the title or fight Jon Jones next. So I think Jon Jones is back in the mix.
But I'll tell you what, man. If I'm Jon Jones, maybe I take that Stipe fight as a warm up, man. Because I don't know, man. And Ngannou, man, those guys are monsters. It seems physically. I don't know. I think Stipe would be a nice matchup for Jon Jones. I'd like to see that as a first fight at heavyweight for Jon Jones. But hey, if he's fighting the champ, I'll respect him for that. I could understand that also. But I'd like to see him against Stipe.
For some reason, the UFC doesn't seem to want to give Jones an immediate title shot at heavyweight. Like, it seems like Jones was ready a few times for a title shot, and they're like, nah, we're going to give it to somebody else. I'm not really sure why.
Isn't that only fair? I mean, listen, the guy's in light heavyweight. You can do what you want. You can dictate what you want in light heavyweight. He could go to that lightweight division right now and fight the champion. I totally agree. He deserves it. But if you're going into the heavyweight division, you're going up against guys like Ngannou, Cyril Gane, and the rest. I mean, is it only fair for guys that have been busting their ass to get an opportunity to fight for the belt? Jones doesn't deserve it. Give me a
Where was this
number
talk?
5.
Where was this talk when Israel Adesanya, after defending the middleweight title, twice, went up and fought Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight title? Where was all this talk from you back then? It didn't exist because you've got this hard-on for Jon Jones. Jon Jones is the greatest light heavyweight of all time. He's beat everybody in his division. The natural move is to move up and fight for the heavyweight title. It only makes sense. Where's this energy when Israel Adesanya's jumping up after 2 fights? Where's this energy when Conor McGregor hasn't won a fight since 2016 and is going to get a title shot in his next fight? You don't have that because you like those guys. Come on, man. It's Jon Jones. I don't like anything he does outside of the cage. He seems like a garbage human being, but inside the octagon, you cannot deny his accomplishments. The guy is one of the greatest, if not the greatest ever. He's undefeated. He's beat everybody.
Whoa. You're gonna compare him against Khabib? You're gonna compare him against George St. Pierre? Maybe even
more
Usman
title
at this
defenses.
Point? Come on, Dave.
More. He's done more than all those guys.
Yeah, you're right. He has. But, I'm not gonna mention picograms were possibly involved in a lot of possible wins.
I'm not gonna mention it, but
losses.
I'm gonna mention it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. Don't shoot me, man. I'm just saying it as it is.
Give him a title shot. I mean, it makes sense.
Nah,
it makes sense.
I don't agree,
Throw
man.
that up on the screen.
Listen,
Give me one. Give me one. Yeah, hit it. 1. There's 1 for you. Picogram mentions 1. Shout out Patrick C. Hamilton. Patrick's on the chat. Headstrom Bacon on the chat.
I'm confident in Jon Jones moving to heavyweight, man. I'm kind of scared that I feel like Cyril Gane or Ngannou are very dangerous for Jon Jones. Both of these guys could knock out Jon Jones, man. They got power. They're big. They're huge. That's why I like the idea of Stipe.
How about a Derek Lewis or Rosenstruck? I mean, you're not telling me that those guys are not dangerous enough to knock out Jones? I mean, let's think about it. They don't have the skill level like Jones overall. But if you're going to go power to power with knockout power, who do you think is going to win? I think Derek Lewis would win. There's no doubt about it. And that's what I'm saying. It's a different animal. And if Jones can knock out
Stop. You think Derek Lewis would beat Jon Jones?
You're crazy.
If Derek Lewis
fuck out of here.
If Derek Lewis gets an opportunity to throw that heavy right, it's bedtime for Jon Jones. He's going to get knocked back down to lightweight, maybe down to middleweight. You might fly back down to featherweight by the time he lands down. I'm just telling you. It's a different animal in heavyweight.
Do you remember when you said Gustafsson would beat Jones and Anthony Smith would beat Jones? And who is these other guys you said would beat Jones?
Wait.
So many guys you picked against Jon Jones. Thiago Santos. So many guys. Guys.
Listen, the guy was fighting Jones with two
excuses.
The guy had no.
Took it out.
Listen, the guy had no legs, and he still fought, man, till the end. I'm just saying, bud. Hey, it was cool. People are on the other side.
I don't understand.
Cyril Gane that destroyed Derek Lewis in his last fight.
Yeah.
And completely outclassed him because Derek Lewis is just a big puncher. Yeah. I mean, Jon Jones would do the same thing with a little less power than Gane, but man, he moves just as well, has the speed, has the he could hit him nonstop. Derek Lewis, come on.
Look,
AJ,
I'll be honest. Look, I'll be honest. If I like to see a heavyweight fight with Jon Jones, I kind of like what Freddie said. Somebody like Stipe. But if I really had my way, I love to see the first fight in the UFC, a Cyril Gane versus a Jon Jones. Now that would be exciting for
the belt.
That would, honestly.
Wait, weren't you just arguing against him fighting for the belt in his first heavyweight fight?
But prior to the belt, I don't think.
What?
I don't know, man.
Cyril is the champion. Cyril's a champion. What are you talking about?
He is until he beats Ngannou. And that's the thing. He is the champion.
Wait.
It's not
Did you just say he's the champion until he beats Ngannou? No, actually, Ngannou is the champion. Cyril's the interim champion. When he beats Ngannou, he's the undisputed champion. So he's not the champion until he beats Ngannou. When he beats Ngannou, he will remain. He'll be just undisputed champ. He'll be the only champion. What are you talking about tonight?
No,
You're a little confused.
Listen, No, I think you're confused, bud. I think you've been smoking too much peyote there. Listen, I'm telling you, I
That
just
sounds
think
fun.
that it does actually. But listen, I'm just saying is that it would have been nice to see before Cyril is getting the fight in Ngannou, it would have been nice to see Jones come in and fight Cyril as he's moving his way up. To me, that would have been exciting to see if he really had what it takes to get that opportunity to go right for the belt. Some people agree with you, Dave. They're like, yeah, Jones should fight for the heavyweight belt. I totally disagree with that. I think he should earn his way to fight that belt in the heavyweight
By
division
fighting the
because
champion.
it's such a
I agree with you.
prestigious
I agree with you, AJ. He should earn his way to the heavyweight belt by fighting the champion immediately, Cyril Gane. I agree with you 100%.
No,
you are
I'm
right.
Prior
you are
to
correct.
This, prior. I'm talking 2 years ago.
Okay.
A year ago.
Well,
I'm talking like Jon Jones has been out of the game.
The fact of the matter is this,
while.
Jabroni. Cyril Gane is going to fight Francis Ngannou next, and I think Jon Jones should fight the winner. That's the bottom line.
It's probably what's going to happen. I mean, Jon Jones has to be active at some point because it's been a while since he's fought now. So, if anything, I just hope he gets back in the cage quick enough. And as far as Jon Jones, the human being, well, I kind of agree with you, Dave. This guy, like, how many times is he going to do stupid stuff? But I'm still going to watch him as a fighter. Unfortunately, I'm there for the spectacle. But, hey, who knows, man? At some point, man, I'll tell you one thing that's irked me about Jon Jones recently is him always saying, like, oh, I leave that in the hands of God. How about you fucking take responsibility for your life and, take control of it, man? Leave it in the hands of God. That's like leaving it in the hands of faith,
yeah,
fucking take control of your life.
Be a grown man.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would not be mad if the UFC decided that, if Cyril wins on January 22nd at UFC 270, which I think he will. I think we all think he will, right? We're all picking Cyril to beat Ngannou right now. If Cyril does win, I wouldn't be mad if the UFC said, we're going to go and do Cyril versus Stipe now for the belt. Because Stipe is a gentleman, and we like Stipe, and he's a former champion, and he's still upper echelon in the division. And yeah, he lost to Francis, but we're going to see Stipe versus Cyril and give Cyril that challenge. And I think that's a really good fight. And I honestly wouldn't be mad at the UFC for rewarding Stipe for being a respectable human being rather than Jon Jones for being a spectacle of a human being. So I would actually like the UFC to give it to Stipe if Cyril wins. If Francis wins, which is possible because Francis has got fire in his hands, if he wins, I think Jon Jones is the only fight because, I don't know if we need to see Stipe versus Francis again, although it would be a trilogy fight. I mean, they are 1-1. So either way, I think Stipe is a really good option out of it. I think less than with Francis because I feel like Francis has figured Stipe out and he's going to do the same thing to him the next time. And with Cyril, it'd be a different type of challenge. Cyril hasn't really faced anybody who could really wrestle. He's faced mostly strikers, and that plays into his game. I'd like to see Cyril have to take on a guy like Stipe who's a little bit more versatile in his skills. But as much as I want Jon Jones to fight for the heavyweight title, and I believe that he's deserving of a heavyweight title shot, unfortunately, because of his actions outside of the cage, the Stipe fight is still there, and I think maybe you should give him the Stipe fight instead, because Jon Jones is such a piece of shit, and it seems like he maybe hit his wife, although, it's all alleged. I don't know why you're laughing. It's pretty terrible. But
I'm
it seems like he maybe did.
Piece of shit. Take it easy there, Dave.
Well, he is kind of a piece of garbage, man. Like the reports of him maybe hitting his wife there. That's drunk driving. Well, it's not necessarily a fact, AJ. That's alleged. I don't know.
His daughter reported it.
Well, this is a report from. I don't know. I don't want to say that it happened because she's not pressing charges, so I don't know. But it seemed like she was hit by something, and Jon Jones was in the vicinity. Man, it makes you not like Jon Jones at all, and maybe, we don't give him the next title shot because he's such a piece of garbage. I think under any other circumstances, you'd give him the title shot because he's so good at fighting, but because he's such a garbage man, maybe you give it to Stipe. And Stipe is respectable. You got to love Stipe. He's a fireman. He's a great guy.
He's a hero, man, a true hero, and that's the thing. But unfortunately, you know what? Bad guys sell pay-per-views, and Jon Jones is that guy. And it's unfortunate because Jon Jones coming into the UFC, seeing this guy rise to the level that he's done, and I agree with you. The guy had everything to be a champion, was a champion, and he loses it when he's outside of the ring. And you know what? It's not like it's just ridiculous things. I mean, he's done things that are beyond ridiculous. I mean,
yeah. It's not kind of punching an old man in a bar. You know what I mean? It's not punching an old man in a bar or getting into a fight with Machine Gun Kelly at the Much Music or MTV Awards,
dude.
You know? It's not the same. You know, what Conor does is kind of more lighthearted and fun and kind of wacky. What Jon Jones does is like,
throwing a trolley. Look, he throws a trolley out.
Well, that was not good.
Some people got injured.
Yeah.
That wasn't good. But
Rose Namajunas was in there. She's like 115 pounds. It's not cool.
Who lost? Somebody was out of the fight because some shards of glass went in their eye. Who was that fighter? I forgot who it was.
I think it was Chiesa, wasn't it?
Chiesa. I'm thinking it was Chiesa that got I don't know. But anyways, all to say is this: there's level of pumping it up in a sense and getting those ratings. People love Conor, people hate Conor, but Conor brings in the best pay-per-view numbers of all combat sports. The thing with Jon Jones is right now people want to watch him, and the majority, I'm telling you, want to see him get his ass kicked. And that's the thing. It's because of all the stuff he's done. He's gone beyond that. We're talking hardcore stuff, with aggression towards women and whatnot. And it's a shame because, like I said, Jon Jones coming up and what he's accomplished could have been recognized as the greatest, combat athlete of all time and a real representative of martial arts. When we look at martial arts, we think of guys like George St. Pierre. I look at George, man, and he represents martial arts, like you would expect it to be. But guys like Stipe, the same thing. Usman, the same thing. Khabib, the same thing. And it's unfortunate for Jones. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes I get on Jones's back, but it's more that it upsets me the fact that he's blowing and pissing his career away. We don't know what he's going to do at heavyweight.
For sure, and I don't disagree with you about Jon Jones, but a few of those guys you mentioned, you could say, yeah, good guys, good representatives. But then there's also some things, about those guys. Some of those guys, I'm sure, have some things that maybe they haven't done correctly in the past. Nobody's perfect, but Jon Jones is very imperfect, and he seems just kind of brazen with his imperfections. And he seems almost proud of them and almost like, so what? What are you going to do about it? And no one does anything. He just keeps on.
I'm kind of happy. Listen,
I don't like his speech of it's in the hands of God. Take responsibilities, man. Like you say, he's brazen about it. He's he doesn't really care, it seems, or he seems to tell us that it's out of his control. How about you take control of your life and do the right things?
Yeah.
On some of these subjects, it shouldn't be too hard, man. You shouldn't be being violent towards your wife. You shouldn't shouldn't drive drunk.
Yeah.
Those things are pretty
guys.
They have nothing to do with God, man. They have to do with you, man.
Yeah, it seems pretty simple.
Good one.
It seems
Father
pretty
Fred,
simple.
You're absolutely right.
Well, yeah, just be responsible.
Absolutely. The only thing that's good is that at least he's saying that he's 60 days sober. You know what? Tell me that in 2 years, and you really clean up your
Tell me
your
that
act
60 days after you get arrested, at least.
Yeah, tell me that when it's true. How about that? How about try when it's real? My God. Kamaru Usman saying, yeah, what? Could we be? I don't want to talk about Jon Jones all night. I'm done with him. The guy is joking around. He's tweeting and deleting constantly. He says he's sober, but who knows? I don't even believe that he's 60 days sober or even 30 days sober. I don't believe anything that the guy says. Yeah. Usman apparently fought Kobe with a broken hand. You guys see that? Usman saying he fought him with a broken hand? Pretty impressive. Kobe thinks he won the fight. Kobe's now saying he thinks he won.
Gaethje's head or something like that? That's what I heard.
Yeah, in training, yeah.
Which makes complete sense, man. I mean, a lot of boxers go into fights with, broken hands. They tape them up, really tight, and they hope for the best, man. And you can see that when they're when the hand is broken, obviously they're not really using power punches. They're just jabbing away, whatnot. But it's very possible. If his hand was broken, that's impressive. I mean, that was an amazing fight regardless. But you know what? Usman is a real martial artist in my opinion. And even though Colby plays the game and he looks like the bad guy or whatever, you know, I still
Rio,
want to see them
he's
fight
gonna say it
again.
I just had to read it and laugh at that.
At what? What happened?
Well, I mean, he called Usman a real martial artist
Yeah.
after all the picograms on Jon Jones, and I know Usman's never been caught on anything, but I mean, yeah.
You think so?
That just made me laugh.
Come on. No.
Whoa.
I think Usman is clean, man.
CEO of EPO.
Usman's clean.
Come on, man. Look at
You
that
think
gym,
so?
man.
Oh, come on.
TJ
Just
Dillashaw. Who else, man? Come on.
oh.
I'm just saying.
Dillashaw wasn't with them.
I'm not going to put my
wasn't
word
there.
on Usman does it the right way because, I mean, I hope he does, but, hey, I'm not putting my money on that.
2 picogram mentions. Fred, Dillashaw wasn't there. Dillashaw wasn't with Dwayne Ludwig. He wasn't with Trevor Whitman.
No?
No, it's different camp. Different team.
Yeah, I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
Who?
Just
Where
because
was he?
Kobe Covington says something doesn't make it true. I don't believe Kamaru Usman's dirty.
I don't think he's dirty either, man.
I don't.
And
He's tested.
Look, but you know what? Anything is possible, man. But the thing is that, listen, the scrutiny of the test of the UFC, you know, I spoke to Pat Cote, and he told me that you never know when they're going to test you. They come randomly. They can come at any time. It doesn't matter. So for them to be able to cheat a test must take, like, really great scientific team to be able to beat that test, because it's literally so hard to do that now from what I've heard. Like, it's completely anytime, even when you're not fighting, they're still coming in and throwing random tests on you. As long as you're on the roster, you will be tested. Even if you're not fighting, if you haven't fought for 2 years, I don't know how Jones gets out of it, because I'm sure he's getting tested. So he must have no picograms in the system if he's still there in some sense. So I'll give him that, but no, Freddie, I'm telling you, I think Usman, man, is completely clean.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, you know, maybe they have great scientists now. We don't know.
You never know, but I think he probably is. Yeah, but he beat Kobe, and now I'm wondering who he fights next. Is it going to be Leon Edwards? Is it going to be Khamzat Chimaev? Gilbert Burns says that they're not fighting. There was talk that Khamzat was going to fight Gilbert Burns. That's not happening. I don't know why, the Khamzat train has kind of slowed down. Like, he fought, he won, he was dominant. I thought he would turn around and get another fight right away, but nothing's materialized yet. Makes you wonder. Maybe you just give him the title shot and see what happens. People want it. I think people want to see it.
Look, if he didn't get COVID and he was out for that long, he would have been there. There's no doubt about it. This guy was fighting like almost like every second week at one point. He got COVID. He was out. He literally retired from the sport because it was so bad. The guy was like throwing up blood. And you know what? It's incredible. And I didn't give him the credit when I still picked him for the win, but I wasn't confident. But he came in, man. He fought like a lion. It looked like he got better after COVID than he did prior. And you're right, Dave. You know, I think it would be amazing for him to go straight for that title. But if he didn't get COVID, he would have been in line to have that opportunity, if not already the belt.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, why not? Let's just go for it. What are we waiting for?
I agree
Stop
with you,
messing
man.
around.
Let's
Who
do
cares?
it, man.
Let's just go.
This guy is amazing, man.
Yeah, he's so good. Like, can he beat Usman? Let's see if he can. I think he might be able to, so let's try it out. Speaking of COVID, Matt Brown, he has COVID. He's not going to be fighting next weekend. That's when the next UFC is, by the way, guys. No UFC this weekend. They're off. The only night off in November. They'll be back next Saturday, which will be December the 4th. Jose Aldo versus Rob Font, UFC Vegas from the Apex. So that'll be next weekend. But this weekend, nothing. This weekend, Triller Triad Combat. You know about this?
Is it tribal, you said?
It's Triller Triad Combat.
Triad, like the gangs in Vietnam?
It's a
Triads.
Mixed rules boxing card. In a triangle, it's a triangle ring, 2-minute rounds, and you can box in the clinch. That's basically the only difference. It's boxing, except you can clinch your opponent with like an overhook or an underhook and punch him, and the referee won't break it up. And you could throw Superman. You could no, because it hasn't happened yet. This is the first one. You could throw Superman punches and spinning back fists and standing hammer fists. There's no groundwork. It's not MMA. It's boxing, but with like clinching and different types of punching. Basically, you can kind of throw whatever kind of punch you want. There's no illegal punch. You can't punch to the back of the head, I don't think, but like you could throw wild punches, spinning back fists, whatever, and you could like grab a guy in the back of the head and like whack him in the face a few times.
So basically, why are they calling it boxing? They should just call it like traditional Muay Thai. There you go.
No, because there's no elbows and no kicks. There's no kicks. Muay Thai has kicks. Muay Thai has elbows. Muay Thai has knees.
Okay.
None of that. It's just punching. It's just punching. No kicks, no elbows. The only strikes allowed are punching, but you could clinch the guy in the punch, in the, like dirty boxing.
Yeah, it sounds like a night on Crescent Street, like being caught in the corner of a bar. Like, big deal. Like, it's great that, it's great that people want to glorify like new forms of combat sports. But you know what? Other than bare knuckles fighting, which actually enticed me, I think it's complete bullshit. Because I can see the same bullshit for free hanging out at like back in the days at Cheers Pub and just watching like a triangle fight in the corner. Big deal. You know what? Who's gonna go there?
You go to a lot of triangular bars, a lot of triangle-shaped rooms. I don't think I've ever been in a triangle-shaped room. It's strange.
Listen, man.
Strange makeup for
I'll
a room.
I'll go into a triangle bar before I'll go into like watch a fight in a triangle ring. Which
I doubt that. I think you would definitely watch it, especially since there's nothing else on Saturday night. Frank Mir is in the main event against a guy called Frank Mir is in the main event.
Okay, maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah, see, there you go. Boom, gotcha. He's fighting Kubrat Pulev from Bulgaria. Yeah, Fred?
Like, you see, this is just like a freak show to me, because why would I want to see Frank Mir in this type of fight, man? Frank Mir, he's a decent striker, but he's known as a grappler, so I'd like to see him either in some grappling or some MMA. Like, I don't really need to see him in this new sport trying to reinvent the wheel. So, honestly, I'll probably watch the highlights or whatever. And I hope Frank Mir wins, because from what I read, Frank Mir, if he wins, hits his bonus, is going to make close to 7 figures, which would be his biggest payday in his career, he says. So good luck to him. Props to him to still make some good money. But honestly, I'm not that interested.
Freddie, he makes no money in the octagon, but he's going to make money in a triangle ring. Like,
how is that possible?
What is it? Like, sponsored by Toblerone? Like, it doesn't make sense, man. It just, it's...
That was a good one.
It's so... But you know what? That's I'm gonna watch the fight just because I'm curious. I'm gonna talk about it with you guys, and I'm gonna be like so embarrassed by the time it ends. But the only thing I'm happy about is that Frank Mir comes out with almost close to $1 million, which he deserves. And it's a shame that he still has to fight in like these ridiculous clown performances.
Take it easy, AJ. Be careful. I knew where you were going there. That's Patrick C. Hamilton dropping a super chat. Patrick C. Hamilton dropping a super chat. He says, octagon, pyramid, or triangle fighting. Why is a ring square? I don't know. Man. I don't know. It doesn't have to be square. Just seems like it works.
Well, actually,
you guys remember the original Pit Fighting League a long time ago that had
Yama.
Yama, yeah, exactly. They had like a cage that was at angles, like the floor was on an angle.
You were like in a pit. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
And people have tried different things, but so you got Frank Mir in the main event of this against Kubrat Pulev. The co-main event, Matt Mitrione versus Alexander Flores.
Wow.
And then you've also got Mike Perry. Yes, that Mike Perry.
You're kidding me?
Versus Michael Seals. So AJ's excited. And there's some other fight. Derek Campos. I think he fought in the UFC as well, taking on Brian Vera. Albert Tumanov, former UFC fighter, I think. He's fighting Scott Sigmon and Jacob Thrall versus Harry Gigliotti. So, yeah, you got Mir, Mitrione, and Mike Perry. I know you're into it. Triangle ring, 2-minute rounds. Mir's fight is 9 rounds. Perry and Mitrione's fights are set for 7 rounds, 2 minutes each, in this weird Triller Triad Combat coming up Saturday. So if you're looking for some fights on Saturday, because the UFC and Bellator they've got nothing, you could go to this weird triangle thing.
I'm going to watch boxing.
I'm telling you.
I've started to get back into boxing, and there's Teofimo Lopez against George Cambozos. That's what I'm watching.
All right. I've heard of that Teofimo Lopez guy. I've heard he's very good.
He defeated Lomachenko. He's the first guy that defeated Lomachenko.
Okay.
If he wins, he might fight against Canelo at some point. So he's an interesting fighter.
Yeah.
All right. What about last weekend? Wasn't there a thing?
Yeah, Crawford. He won.
What happened? Wasn't there something with a guy's dad who was mad at him or something? What happened there?
Well, the dad, I think, threw the towel, and then the fighter wasn't too happy. But, I mean, he was getting beat up pretty badly. So, why take a beating? So,
yeah,
I could understand that.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just heard some things. I saw headlines, but I didn't read any of them because I didn't have interest.
The only boxing dad that we saw that has lost it was Tyson Fury's dad going against Jake Paul. Like Freddie saw it, and it was like, hey, Jay, whatever you do, man, don't become that guy later on in life. And I'm like, you know what? It'd be funny, actually. I don't know if you saw the video,
I
Dave,
think you are that guy.
Jake...
I think that guy's probably your age.
Probably.
Yeah.
But you know what? Jake Paul has, I'm telling you, I think he's barking up the wrong tree this time. I really, really think so. I think he's going up against the whole Fury family. The dad looks like he can knock out Jake Paul. If you haven't seen the video and you haven't seen the heated fight between a lot of dick talk between between the dad and Jake Paul, it's insane. But you know what? I want to see that fight now. I don't know when it's going to take place. I think it's when, Freddie, in January that it's supposed to take place.
Which one? The Paul fight?
Paul Fury?
The Paul and
Paul that's
Fury
December
fight.
18, I think. It's in December. I'm not sure,
it's
but
coming
it's
up.
December.
Dave, we got to do a watch along for that. We need to do.
No,
a watch
I'm not
along,
interested at all in that fight.
Come on, man. We always our ratings go up. It's fun, man. People want to hear Jake Paul. Angelo definitely wants to hear about Jake Paul. Let's just do it, man. But if you watch the video, man, it'll pump you up that you want to see this fight. I'm telling you.
Thing is I have no clue who Tommy Fury is. You see,
exactly.
I'm into boxing right now because this guy I train with loves boxing, and he's always talking to me about these fights. And he's telling me Tommy Fury is supposed to be some sort of playboy or whatever. He's a pretty boy. He's not even a boxer, man. Why would I want to? He's not a fighter. Why would I want to see that, man? I'm not interested. That's not real fighting.
Not interested.
Come on,
I agree. I'm with
Diaz.
Fred. I'm not interested in it whatsoever. I do not care about Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. Give me Jake Paul versus a guy that I've heard of. I've never heard of Tommy Fury. I saw him at the last Jake Paul fight when Jake Paul fought, was it Woodley, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care about Tommy Fury, though. I saw him fight, not interested. I saw Magomed Ankalaev fight a few years ago, and I was like, yeah, this guy's the future. He's going to fight Thiago Santos March 12th for the UFC in his next fight. Big fight for Magomed.
Amazing, man.
I think should be a pretty winnable fight for Magomed, but it's a good step up in competition.
Well, he definitely needs to beat Thiago Santos if he wants to get in line for a title shot, because Thiago Santos has had a nice. He won his last fight against. I'm trying to remember who the other big striker. But anyways, he's not top three guys still. If I have to rank people, I got Yuri before him. Glover right now is the champion. So if Ankalaev wants to fight these guys, he needs to beat Santos. He cannot afford a loss to Thiago Santos.
It was Johnny Walker.
Rakic also. Yeah, exactly. He defeated Johnny Walker, and he looked good against Johnny Walker. But it's still those guys are probably ranked. I don't have it in front of me, but they're probably ranked 5, 6, something like that. Whereas Yuri, Rakic, Glover, those are the top guys in the division right now.
Yeah, I think Yuri's next probably for Glover, and then we'll see what happens. But if Magomed beats Santos, he's gonna be close to a title shot. I'll tell you, it'll be real close. All right, guys. Dustin Poirier telling MMA Junkie that he might be going up to 170 pounds if he wins his next fight and the 155-pound title, but I don't believe him. I think Conor McGregor is going to fight Dustin Poirier for that 155-pound title if Poirier does beat Oliveira.
What weight was their last match? It was a lightweight?
I think, yeah, it was at 55, yeah.
Because other than Conor, I don't see why he would go at 170. I love Dustin Poirier, legend, has been in many wars. He doesn't have the size for 170, man. He used to fight at 145. He'd be small, like against some of these guys, like whether it's Usman, Colby. Those guys are big, man.
Yeah.
Even Kamzat. Those guys are big and strong, man. I don't see why Dustin would want to fight at 170. 150 is probably a weight that he could make still, so that's where his future is.
Yeah, I think 155 is where he stays. I think him saying he might move up to 170 is just posturing and a bit of negotiation for when the day comes that he does win the 155-pound title and the UFC wants him to fight Conor. He's going to say, well, I was thinking about maybe fighting. What do you mean?
Well, he's not going to win. Oliveira's going to win.
You think so? I don't know. I think Poirier might win.
You're talking like...
I'm saying if Poirier does win, I think he wants to set himself up for maybe other options, to kind of make the UFC give him a more enticing deal to fight Conor. He knows how to negotiate Conor fights. He's had 3 of them so far, and I think he'll probably have a 4th, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. AJ, I know you wanted to break down the Seth Rollins fan attack. You want to talk about that from a jiu-jitsu perspective? I talked about it a little bit on Monday.
Yeah, I missed that episode, but I listened to you guys last night. It was fantastic. But I was busy on Monday, but I'm going to listen to it sometime this weekend. I always re-listen to the shows. But it's been a crazy week. I was just before you get to the Seth Rollins. You know what? Talk about violent clashes. I mean, going back to Luis Pena that came out. I just saw this not long ago.
Oh, come on.
Pena
I don't want to talk about
for the 3rd time. Violent Bob Ross, man. I would have never expected this guy to be that messed up. But these are the type of guys that end up going wacko and start attacking.
What do you mean? Things happen.
Well,
man.
You know what? I know, man, but it kind of sucks. But anyways, let's go back to the Seth Rollins things. I mean, what the hell is going on with security? That's my first question is where is security that a guy that big is able to get over the fence? I mean, that guy was no Slim Jim, I'll tell you that much. And he got over that barrier and he went for a 2-legged takedown, which he did pretty well, by the way. I got to give him credit. What was that guy's name, by the way? He came out and he started talking. Wait, let me find it. I'll find you his name.
It doesn't matter what his
name
name
is.
But here it is. Man. Here is the fan. And there's
Let's
Seth,
see that. Let's see this.
Seth talking a lot of trash. This is a fan cam of the attack. Here, I can get back to the beginning for you. There's the guy on top of Seth. The problem is Seth, here, he has a front headlock position. But look at his legs. You see? He's got no guard. He's not trying to do anything to control him with his legs. And that was a big problem. And you see how the guy is then able to pass over Seth's guard right to the chest and then land kicks to Seth's face. He's throwing kicks there. And then Seth's able to get up only when security comes in to help him. Seth is struggling here at the beginning. Struggling, no guard, no nothing. Getting kicked in the face.
That's unfair.
Security comes and he's able to, and then he talks trash.
I mean, listen, there's a better video on TMZ, man. If you go to TMZ,
he got blindsided by a very good tackle. I mean, you're being harsh right now, man.
He did get blindsided.
No.
He got blindsided, but he also I don't know, man. A lot of guys in pro wrestling, you get blindsided, you're still able to take control of the guy and land some shots. That guy would have left bloody with a lot of pro wrestlers. But Seth kind of let him off easy.
Dave, take 2 seconds and go to the TMZ Sports. They have a better angle where the guy comes around the curtain. He doesn't actually jump over the barriers. He comes around the curtain, and he comes flying to Seth. Some people are saying, was it a setup? Was it not a setup? But Seth had more than enough time to see this guy come barreling down.
No, he didn't see him coming.
And I agree with you. He saw him come. I just saw the TMZ footage. Go take a look at it. Man, even a turtle would have saw this guy. It's ridiculous. You'll see the angle on TMZ Sports.
He's in persona mode. He's doing the
he
gimmick,
saw
man. He doesn't expect somebody to run out. Even if he sees somebody on his corner of his eye, his first thought is probably not, oh, this guy is coming to tackle me. I mean, the whole thing happened in 3 seconds, man. Give him a break.
Freddie, I'm going to tell you this. As wrestling goes, man, the guy, if you see the TMZ Sports angle, he had more than enough time to get barreled down, put the headlock on him. He could have done so many things. He could have swept him. He could have thrown him over. He he just didn't do anything. And it was terrible, man. Like, this guy needs some jiu-jitsu, serious help. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm telling you, you look at the footage, the guy had more than enough time to even give him a knee to the face, even drop him with a punch. Regardless, the only thing that he did good is that he slid under the guy's stomach and went down into his crotch. From there, man, he could have got like a single and reversed the guy. Easy, breezy, jiu-jitsu 101, man.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, and I'm just saying,
so
big deal, man. They could have been 10 referees.
Maybe
if
Seth
that was
AJ,
AJ,
a couple of cheap shots, but then from there he would have been like, in this society, he would have been like liable probably for hitting a guy that's being held by a bunch of other people, man.
But hang on, here's the issue that I have with it, is that he has the wherewithal when he gets taken down to grab the front headlock and attempt some sort of control, but his legs do nothing. His legs go nowhere. He does nothing with his legs to control the guy. You either go for the butterfly at that point, or you wrap, or and flip him down on his back, or you wrap around him, close the guard, and just kind of hold on to him. But he's not able to maintain any type of control. He doesn't have the instincts to jump in and to gain any kind of control on this guy who does not appear trained in any type of way. And Seth is supposed to be a world championship pretend fighter on WWE. So I expect my pretend fighters to be able to fight for real and just kind of pretend because, it's a show, not, only be able to do the show and not be able to do it for real. Imagine if that guy would have tried that on Brock Lesnar, what would have happened to him? Brock Lesnar would have eaten that man alive. So the fact that Seth Rollins is the type of guy that can't defend himself in that situation is disappointing to me as a wrestling fan, because I want these guys to be able to defend themselves a little bit better. I like them to be tougher. Shut up, AJ. What, AJ?
Coach, let me in. I got to say one thing.
What?
If it was, listen, if I was thinking about it, I was like, if I was Seth Rollins and I would have been like Hollywood AJ being attacked like that, and just for the sake of the sport and for people, saying, wrestling's fake. Ask Johnny North if wrestling's fake when he's all busted up after a show.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this.
They're tough
if
guys.
I was Seth Rollins, okay, and I'm like in a Hollywood AJ mode, I would have, let's just say I got attacked like him and I was left in that position with the guy on top mount. What I'm talking about is after. You got to save the face of wrestling at that point. That means that when I would have sniffed that guy's crotch like he did going under, you know what I'm saying? I would have taken that guy's back and punished him so that people would never do that shit again. So that no one could. I don't care. Even with the referees, I would have pounded him.
You jump in.
So that this guy, you jump in and you throw those punches, those elbows, and you take the guy with the referees and you slam him like he's never been slammed before. Because you teach everybody in that arena that he's real.
Fred,
Seth
I'm sorry
Rollins
to say it. I'm sorry to say it, Fred, but AJ is right. If you jump the barricade, you have to take a vicious beating so that everybody knows that you are not supposed to jump that barricade. Seth Rollins needs to jump on that guy and throw punches to his face. That guy needs to leave bloodied and bruised so he learns his lesson. That's the tradition of pro wrestling. I mean, it's just well, it doesn't pro wrestling. I'm telling you, it kind of is how the law works. If you jump into their zone, they're allowed to do whatever the hell they want to you. And that's happened in pro wrestling for years. I mean, did you ever see the guy that jumped Bret Hart at the WWE Hall of Fame a few years ago in Brooklyn? That guy jumped Bret Hart. You see how many wrestlers jumped on that guy and started punching him in the face? The FTR guys, Harry Smith, they all jumped on that guy, beat the shit out of that guy. That guy was fucked up afterwards, okay? And that's what should have happened to this guy on Raw, but unfortunately, it didn't.
Dave, listen, it's not like I'm like hardcore in any shape or form to pro wrestling, but I still recall like the old days of wrestling, like, the Hogan days, the Andre the Giant days, the Ultimate Warrior days,
What's your point?
You name it, man.
You remember old times?
In those days, those guys would have taken no shit from anybody in the ring or outside of the ring. There's no doubt about it. I seen some of those guys walking the streets of Montreal or in a bar, and if anybody tried to go up to the $1 Million Man in Cheers, when he used to love going there, and talk shit to him, he would have beat the shit out of him. I seen Fuji, man, walking around with the Iron Sheik, and let me tell you, man, anybody of that day, of those old school Hard Knocks days, nobody would have taken a chance because they would have taught them a lesson. Imagine trying to do that to Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even to Hogan at that point.
Yeah.
That shit wouldn't happen. And I'm just saying, like, if I'm looking at it from a fan perspective, you know, it's so important that Seth Rollins, you know, if he could turn back the clock, he obviously, like I think John said, that he has no jiu-jitsu skills. You can see that very clearly.
He's
but
a
the thing
CrossFit
is that he
guy.
does have punch. He does have anybody could punch. My grandmother could have punched pretty hard. He had to show something. He had to save the face of wrestling and to his fans. Because I can assure you this, he's going to lose a lot of fan base. Because for me, now that I look at Seth Rollins, I think he's a jabroni. He couldn't do anything except use his mouth and talk shit when he had like 5 refs on top of this guy. And if you look at this guy, the guy is just like, you know, he's like Butterbean, like mini-me version. There's no way that this guy should be like muscling Seth Rollins, you know, at all. And Seth Rollins didn't do what he should have done. Like, really punish this guy. I mean, literally take him and slam him. And people will be like, fuck, was this part of the show or not? And you could go with that storyline. But right now, it looks like the storyline is that you got some jabroni that was able to tackle him down. And Seth Rollins did absolutely nothing except talk shit after the refs, like, held him down. I find that embarrassing, man. I really do. You know, and guys like listen, I've seen a lot of, like, local pro wrestling stuff. And I love it, man. I love pro wrestling. I was a ref in a pro wrestling match. You know, I fucking choked out like Vicky Moratis in a pro wrestling match. And what I'm trying to say is, but let me finish. Yeah. When I was a ref with Sexy Eddie fighting the Green Phantom and all that kind of stuff, being in that ring, seeing that live, when you see these guys flying over me literally, and seeing what they're doing, I'm like, look, I do jiu-jitsu, wrestling, I've done it all. But looking at these athletes performing the way they do, it's impressive, man. Yeah. It's super impressive. And after the fight, when they're downstairs, which I saw them, they're all bloodied up. They're all busted up. You know, they have many injuries. And you know what? I look at them and I'm like, no, wrestling is not fake. Wrestling is real. The beatings that these guys take, I don't get in jiu-jitsu. And that's why I'm saying is that Seth Rollins did a disservice to the pro wrestling world by doing what he did. He didn't impress me, man. He don't impress me. He don't send me location.
Doug Hepburn says, jump out of your car at Lion Safari, expect to get eaten. I agree with that. That is a solid statement there. Doug dropping a super chat. Thank you, Doug.
AJ, are you more disappointed by Seth Rollins or by Tyron Woodley? Because I love how you think like you put so much on these guys' shoulders. Like, oh, Tyron Woodley losing to Jake Paul. It's the end of MMA.
That was hard.
Blah. Seth Rollins not defending himself. That just looks bad for the whole entire wrestling scene and blah, blah, blah.
But look, it does, because you know what? It's a good point that you bring up. You're absolutely right. Because when I look at Tyron Woodley now, I don't recall I don't want to even think about, or I don't even remember, and most fans would not even believe that this guy was a former champion. And that's the problem. He threw away all his credibility when he fought Jake Paul like a freaking turnip. And you know what? That's the end of Tyron Woodley. I'll never remember Tyron Woodley other than looking like a bonehead against Jake Paul that schooled him. Let's be honest. He got schooled. And you know what? You can't change that time. And Seth Rollins cannot change the time that if you're going to get attacked with that amount of fan base after COVID, when all eyes are on you, he didn't do the wrestling game justice. That's my 2 cents opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, AJ. I think you're a little bit confused about a few aspects, but I think fundamentally you are correct. You know, there was a promoter back in the day called Bill Watts, and he was very successful. And if you were one of his wrestlers and you went to the bar and you got in a fight, that was fine as long as you won. If you lost the fight, he would fire you. And I think a lot of old-school wrestling promoters, having seen something like what Seth Rollins went through on Raw on Monday, may have second thoughts about pushing him as a top performer, a main event level guy, because of the way he was unable to defend himself. It's not that, you know, Seth Rollins got completely obliterated. It's that Seth Rollins got tackled by a guy, really didn't do very much, had security jump and save him, and then talked a bunch of trash to the guy when he was done. It's not that, you know, Seth didn't get attacked unfairly. It's that he didn't respond very well after that unfair attack. And when you're a guy like Seth Rollins, who's a high-profile WWE wrestler, there's a level of capability that's expected. There's a level of skill that's expected that he just didn't display, and it was a little disappointing to see because in the history of wrestling, guys usually are able to just beat the hell out of the fans, and the fact that the fan got one over on Seth, and we have to sit here and make excuses for Seth like, oh, well, the guy blindsided him, and we're not sitting here talking about, hey, did you see that guy blindside Seth, and then Seth kicked the living shit out of him? Did you see that? I mean, that is the story that we should be talking about. Instead, we're making excuses for Seth like, oh, well, didn't want to get sued, and the guy attacked him, and he didn't see it, and, it's not his fault. It's like, yeah, but that's we shouldn't have to make excuses for pro wrestlers who are supposed to be monstrous, snarling, tough guys that, fans are afraid of. But this fan wasn't afraid at all. And it wasn't like it was a big jacked fan that did it either. It was a kind of portly, not huge-looking guy who just kind of barreled through Seth, knocked him on his ass, and then was able to kick him a couple times while security wrestled him away. It didn't look great for Seth. It didn't look great. And I think AJ is right. I think, fans should not be jumping the barricade. Like, it's a dick thing to do. You should not be jumping a barricade at any kind of performance, be it wrestling or whatever. You should not be attacking people when they don't see it coming in any form or fashion at any point in your life. I think that's bad as well. Sneak attacks are terrible. If you're going to fight somebody, tell them, hey, let's fight, have them agree to fight, and then determine a winner, however you want to determine a winner. But I don't think that you should go ahead and attack people for no reason. So I think that the guy was wrong.
Absolutely.
But Seth, for pro wrestling, I just wish that he would have bloodied that guy up a little bit. Get some color.
You know what? You remind me like of the old days of like the Gracie family and Helio Gracie and Rickson and all the rest of the team when they had their jiu-jitsu gyms and they opened up any challenger from anywhere before the UFC. This is the Vale Tudo days, and let me tell you, man, it didn't matter where you came from, the size you were, you came in the gym, you talk shit, you fought the Gracies. The Gracies smashed everybody to the point where they came to the US to get like UFC 1 going. And that's, you know what? They earned that respect, man. They earned their way to what the UFC is today. And that's what I'm saying is that, like, it's not like they won, like, forever. But let me tell you, man, they paved the way, but they were able to back up everything. Seth Rollins is backing up the face of wrestling, man. And when you look like that, his next fight, whoever he demolishes with whatever, it's not going to look as good. For me, it soured me as a low-level fan.
You are definitely a low-level fan, AJ. You are the lowest of the low.
But Pico Grand Free, bud. Pico Grand Free.
3. All right. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. That's it.
Franco.
We're done. We are done. Fred?
That's it?
Fred, what do you think?
Did we miss anything? NASCAR, Freddie.
You got NASCAR thoughts, Fred, before we go?
Off-season, man.
Ah.
There's no trauma. Drama, I should say. Any drama? Nothing, man.
I got nothing.
3
Well,
Pico Grand
man.
mentions. There you go. We finished with 3. Patrick C. Hamilton is the Super Chat leader. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate you. Doug Hepburn, thank you as well for dropping a Super Chat. Thank you guys for supporting the Ringside Report Network. Don't forget to become a member like Doug, like Patrick, like Angelo. Members of the team. Join.ringsidereport.net. Donate.ringsidereport.net as well. And you can go to merch.ringsidereport.net and ringsidereport.net/shop to take advantage of some of our sponsors and great deals. We've got Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, booked through the Ringside Report Network over at ringsidereport.net/shop right now.
Nice.
Do it.
Don't forget Bet99 and everybody else, man.
Of course, bet99.com. Use that promo code ringside when you sign up. All right.
You made some good money for everybody like the last little while, so like we're ahead like of a lot of.
Didn't
like,
we all
UFC
pick
fighters.
Misha Tate last week? That was not good.
No, it wasn't. You know what?
She did not win.
That was the
as soon as the fight started.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes you don't know until the fight starts. But at Bet99, they have in-fight wagering. You could bet when the fight's going on, so take advantage of that. Huh? How about it?
Yeah, that's good, man. Who else was Sean Brady, man? I told you he was going to beat Chiesa. Calderwood, I told you Talia was going to win. Listen, AJ was on a
I
roll,
told
man.
you, I told
Manny,
you as
yeah,
well. I
was
also
there.
I also told you that. I also told you many of those winners as well, AJ. You can't just take credit by yourself when we all picked the same winners.
The Misha Tate one, like that was a mistake, man. Cupcake, man. Went sour. But she still looks good, eh? Wow.
Oh boy.
Damn.
Yeah.
Not as good as Mackenzie Dern, but she still looks good.
All right,
hey,
take
listen,
it easy. We're done. No. As soon as you start going down that road, we're just going to shut you down. What?
Love is in the air.
Okay.
Free Joe Exotic.
All right, I'll be back here tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time with Johnny North talking professional wrestling right after SmackDown, and we'll be watching AEW Rampage here with you. Happy Thanksgiving to all our American friends, and shout out to Patrick C. Hamilton. You are the Super Chat leader of the night.
Look, everyone,
it's
Santa!
No,
what?
You're not. Sorry, Angelo is.
Who was that?
That was Angelo. Angelo says,
happy Hanukkah, Dave.
Thanks for the show tonight. Have a great weekend, and happy Hanukkah, Dave. Yes, thank you.
Happy Hanukkah, Dave.
Do you know when Hanukkah is, AJ?
Happy Hanukkah. But, are you joking, man?
Do you know when it is?
David Simon. It's now, man.
No. It's
you not. Want some? I have like.
It's not.
It's
not now. It's not currently
it's the
Hanukkah.
Festival of Lights.
Yeah, but you think Hanukkah has started? Hanukkah hasn't started. How long is Hanukkah?
I'm Italian. Why are you telling me this shit for? I know it's coming up.
How long is Hanukkah? Do you have any idea?
Let me think. Yeah, it's there's how many lights? 13, I think.
Fred,
what are you laughing for?
I'm doing a Hanukkah quiz for you guys. How many? Fred, don't Google it. Don't Google it. I see you, Fred. How many days at Hanukkah? How many days? How many days? How many nights?
Listen, man, I'm going with 13.
9.
13, bud.
Ugh. Fred's closest, so Fred wins. But it's 8 days and 8 nights. 8 crazy nights.
Well, it
you don't know about
that? On the 28th and finishes on the 6th.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's 9.
That's right. That's 9 days and 8 nights.
My count.
No. It starts.
It takes about, listen, about
it starts,
3 days for
you guys,
preparation.
No.
And 1
I gotta
day to
clear
recover.
that up. I gotta clear that up.
13.
It's
right.
8.
You're saying Google's wrong?
No. Yes. Because I'm saying you are interpreting Google wrong. It starts at sundown, Sunday, November 8th. It starts at night. So it's 8 days.
Like 4 p.m. because sundown is very early.
Yeah, but that's at night.
Yeah, but that counts as a day. Sunday.
No. It doesn't count as a day. We count it as the night. It's 8 days.
There, Dave. I don't know,
it's
man.
8 days and 8 nights. I know about Hanukkah, guys. I'm Jewish. Don't try to tell me about Hanukkah. AJ, you thought it was 13 days, okay, over here?
I told you why. 3 days of preparation and 1 day of recovery. 13, man. 9 plus 3 and 1. There you go.
It starts Sunday night, so happy Hanukkah to all of my friends, and I will be celebrating
I'm in the last
Hanukkah.
Season of Seinfeld, and they just did the Festivus episode.
Yes.
Festival of Grievance and all that, man. And I'll just say Seinfeld, the last season is like a little, maybe they did it a little too quick, but that episode was fucking good. That poor George. What do you want me to say?
Man.
Poor George.
As rain blows upon him, I thought there must be a better way. A Festivus for the rest of us. Big E, WWE champion, has Festivus-themed ring attire right now. His ring gear is Festivus-themed.
Dave, let's get some shirts with Festivus
ring
ringside,
attire. We're not pro wrestlers. I don't know what the
hell
you're talking
Ringside
about.
Report, like blabbers. Get a T-shirt with Christmas motif and Hanukkah and Festivus and Kwanzaa and whatever.
You're just off the wall right now. Actually, I need a menorah. My old menorah was all busted.
I'll go get one.
Yeah, go to Côte St. Luc for me and get me a menorah. There's a Jewish store in Côte St. Luc that I have to go to and get a nice new menorah. I want to get a new menorah for Hanukkah coming up Sunday night.
That'll be my Christmas gift for you. How's that sound? My Christmas gift, I'll get you a menorah.
Yeah, but you're going to get it for me. You're not going to get it for me on time because I need it by Sunday night, and it's Thursday right now, so I don't have a lot of time. And I think
Let's see. I'll do
I think
something for
honestly,
you. Don't worry about it.
if I'm going to a good legit store, I only have tomorrow during the day because at sundown tomorrow night, it's over. And I guess I could go Sunday during the day. But Saturday, I mean, forget about it. It's not going to be open on Saturday. And you guys know why. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm not sure. At this point, I'm not really sure. I thought everybody knew how many days and nights Hanukkah was. Do you guys know why all the Jew stores would be closed on Saturday?
Shabbat.
Yeah, Shabbat. There you go. All right, guys. I love you. Happy
I am
Hanukkah.
cultured.
Yeah, we'll come over for Hanukkah. We'll eat latkes. We'll
I love latkes.
We'll eat some Hanukkah gelt. We'll spin the menorah.
You're
We'll dance the
have to give me
hora.
You're going to have to give me the definition of all those foods because I have no clue what it is, man.
Latkes.
I need some description.
You have matzo ball
Latkes,
soup.
latkes is like a potato pancake, and Hanukkah
best, man.
gelt is just chocolate
Is
money.
there maple syrup on it?
Hey, listen.
No.
Dave,
It's
do you
usually
have matzo ball
sometimes
soup?
you dip it in applesauce.
What? I care about matzah. Do you have matzo ball soup? Yes or no?
Not really for Hanukkah, no. I don't really like
What's a
matzo ball
matzo ball?
soup. I like latkes,
So
though.
good, man.
I like latkes. I'll take some gelt. I like to do the Hanukkah prayer. I do it in Hebrew. I'm
Isn't
real
gelt like
legit.
Gildelfa fish?
Sing the Adam
What is
Sandler
that?
song?
No, so I spin the menorah. I can spin a menorah upside down, not just normals, but on the top, the little tiny, or not a menorah. Spin the dreidel. What the hell am I talking about? I got confused by that comment. Did I say spin the
Back to your
menorah?
Torah.
Spin the
Yeah,
dreidel.
man. You got to go back to your. You got to go back and.
You
get
guys
your
are
lessons again.
you guys are throwing me off here. Yeah, I spin the dreidel. I could spin that thing on the top on normal and flipped upside down, and a rabbi taught me how to do it. So that's super legit, guys.
What?
Super legit.
Dude,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
What, you don't know? Yeah, I'm real Jew. I got real Jew cred. If a rabbi teaches you
I
tricks
know
with a
that,
dreidel,
man.
if a rabbi teaches you dreidel tricks, you got you're in. You're in. All right.
I was
So
gonna use a joke on that, but I'm gonna hold it.
I think my dad is watching. Maybe my dad could take me to Côte St. Luc. We could go menorah shopping for Hanukkah. That's a nice.
Now that's a
Menorah,
great.
like spin the
That's a
bottle?
nice thing. Father and son, man.
That's a nice
Spin the
Jewish
bottle.
father and son activity. Go to Côte St. Luc and
Yeah.
buy a menorah. Huh? Huh? What do you say? Huh? Take me to Côte St. Luc.
I think it's a great idea. Good.
Let's
Way
take
to
AJ
go,
too
Dave. I love
and teach AJ about Jewish tradition.
You guys.
AJ, I wish you were at my bar mitzvah. You would have been like he would have been like my age, I think, when I had my bar mitzvah. Crazy. When I had bar mitzvah, AJ was my age that I am right now. What a crazy,
I would have
crazy
loved to.
world.
I would have loved to see it, man. You
Yeah,
know,
it was
being
killer.
up on the top with
That was the
your
best.
you know, the what do you call that? Not the scarf, but the
Tallis.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie.
So it's like a
Talbot.
scarf. It's a tallis. Anyways.
Oh, I thought you had some- okay.
Angela's the super
I
chat
thought it-
leader.
okay.
Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Patrick. Patrick went 777. That was his super chat lead. Angelo went 780. He just just a little bit, just, nails it. You know? I like it. Angelo, thank you. Patrick, thank you. Doug, thank you. Appreciate all you guys. Happy Hanukkah. Maybe you'll see me at Côte St. Luc menorah shopping. That'll be a good time. All right. Thank you. See ya. Bye.